Welcome to Bite Size Revelation, in which we're going to attempt to go through the book of Revelation in 25 to 6 minute bites. Now, we'll soon discover if I've bitten off more than I, or indeed you, can chew. So, first bite, whose name is on the book? Now, when I first read Revelation, I can remember the title of the book in the version I was reading. And remember these titles were added later. And it was the Revelation of St. John the Divine. Now, even then, I can remember thinking, well, that's so wrong. It may have been written down by John, but the first 5 words in the book state clearly whose revelation it is. The revelation of Jesus Christ, or as it is sometimes, the revelation from Jesus Christ. Either can be correct. But the point is that both make Jesus the centre of the book. And that's our starting point and our continual reference point. Okay, we may lose our way later. We may get confused. We may have different interpretations. We may even disagree. But we must never lose sight of the main character, Jesus Christ. There be perhaps more intriguing characters and sights as we move on. But our aim should always be to see what Jesus is doing and saying through all that is revealed. Now, the word revelation means an unveiling or revealing. And sometimes when people talk about revelation, it's as if there's been an unveiling of everything else except for Jesus. But the main purpose of the book is to unveil and reveal Jesus. So let's make that our prayer and purpose as we go forward. Now, revelation is also a prophecy. It's there in verse 3. And in fact, the word is used in 7 occasions in the book. More on the number 7 later. We can often think that prophecy is all about prediction. But that's not usually the main point of Bible prophecy. The prophetic voice of God is there more to instruct and guide his people as they navigate their way through and seek to follow God in their journey. He's calling them to faithful obedience and to keep on keeping on when the going is hard and the opposition is intense. Let me be really clear. Revelation is not primarily about revealing the future, although that is an important part. It's primarily about revealing Jesus and his place in the unfolding story of salvation, and how ultimately everything will be brought to the close that God has determined. The culmination and climax of our salvation, which is all about Jesus and is ultimately a lot bigger than just you and me. Now, that's a few bites further on, but that's where we're heading. So Revelation is less about revealing the future and more about revealing destinies. Now, of course, that is the future, but we will be looking at the book not so much as a timeline or even a roadmap to the end, but seeing how God ensures that everything ends correctly. We'll leave that one hanging for now and come back to the endings and the destinies towards the end of our bites. But we'll also see that Revelation is not just describing how things will end, it's also describing some of the realities now for the churches that it was written to, and also for us today. When we can't see beyond what we can naturally see, when our foes seem so huge, when we're faced with real issues of how we live a Christian life in a world and society that's increasingly antagonistic towards Christians. Well, Jesus' encouragement to his followers as he opened up how things would move on in the time between his first and second coming, his encouragement was to stand up and look up. And this is very much the focus of Revelation, enabling Christ's followers to stand and withstand in the face of different forms of opposition and to look up and see a reality beyond what can be naturally seen. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I'm doing the whole of Revelation in 20 short video pieces. Will it be the most comprehensive study? Will it cover everything? No way. But the challenge is to ensure that in each bite we can highlight 1 or 2 main points so that as hopefully you read through the book alongside this series, it can begin to make some sense. So, as we move on, perhaps unsure of how we're going to respond and react to what we discover, let's take to heart some of the opening words, as this is the only book in the Bible that comes with an inbuilt blessing for those who listen and obey. Blessed is the one who reads the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near. As we go through Revelation, We'll see there are in fact 7 blessings throughout the book, and we'll try to remember to note them as we progress. Let's look to God to bless us as we read and take to heart the words of this wonderful book.